Hi, this is Kevin Trainer, and welcome to my tutorial on how to complete and submit your My Guitar Shop exercises that are going to be assigned within the course on a regular basis. Typically, we'll do the exercises for a chapter each week, and in the summer session, sometimes we do two per week, two chapters per week. I'm recording this in January 2018, and I'm getting ready to teach a database course at the University of Illinois in the spring. And so I'm going to be kind of showing you where the files are within the schedule and all that for the University of Illinois. But these are not going to change so much over time. So I'm hoping that the life of the video here will be a good year or so. So if things look a little bit different for your course, well, have some patience. You should be able to find them. Okay. So first of all, let's open up the browser and find our way to the schedule. Okay. So I have a lot of monitors here. So we're going to open up the Edge browser. Oops, sorry about that. The Edge browser. And here it comes. And right now for the upcoming semester, we're going to find our way to what the weekly schedule looks like in one of my courses right now. So we're going to go to Spring 2018, the University of Illinois. And here's the course I'm going to be teaching. That's the database course. So I'm going to go to the index page for the schedule. And I happen to know that the first week that we're handing in these My Guitar Shop exercises is week 4. So I'm going to week 4 of the schedule. And here's the coding assignment due. And let's see what we have. We have apparently 8 exercises from Chapter 3 of the My Guitar Shop exercises. These are not the ones that are in the textbook. They're a companion from a companion case called My Guitar Shop. So to see the work that you have to do, I have a link for that. That's exercises. Open up that. It's taking its sweet time. And here we can see that we've got the exercises, and they go all the way down to number 8. And Chapter 3 deals with the simple SQL select statement to get data from a single table. And that's what we're going to be doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a script for each of the exercises. That's pretty typical. And a typical script is going to be a text file, and it's going to have the name of the exercise, and it's going to have the extension .sql, because that's what SQL script files look like. Okay, so we're going to have to create 8 of those. All right, for this particular chapter, we would. And we need to put them in an appropriately named directory. Okay? So let's start thinking about doing that. the appropriately named directory. Okay, so one thing I haven't done on this virtual machine that we're working in is I don't have the File Explorer down in my taskbar. So let's go find the File Explorer, and let's put a link to that in my taskbar. It's part of the Windows system. And File Explorer, we're going to right click, and the virtual machine's kind of busy today. We're doing a lot. We're processing the video on the last of the tutorials while we're making this one. So we want to go to More and Pin to Taskbar. And you see it's showing up down here. Okay, so I'm going to hit Escape and get out of that. And now I'm going to open this up. Okay. So depending on where you're taking my course, you're going to submit a file with your work using the learning management system of the day wherever you are. So right now at the University of Illinois, that's Moodle. At UWM, that's D2L. Okay, and I'll have set up an assignment activity for you to submit a single file. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be talking about how do you create that single file and what does it look like. All right. So let's look at this. All right. Where are you going to put your homework answers? Well, I'm going to say a documents folder is not a bad place, and we don't have anything else in there. Okay. So let's create a new folder. Okay. And new folder. Things are running a little bit slow. And I'm going to call these I'm going to call these KT. Those are my initials. My guitar shop solutions. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and then the first chapter we're going to be handing them in for is going to be chapter 3. Okay, so let's go down in here. Let's open this up. And it's really important that when we download all of your work that we can identify it pretty quickly. There's one way to download your work where we just download all the files from everybody at once. And what you're all going to have is a single zip file that's properly named and has a proper structure. So what's the name going to look like? Well, let's do it right here. So let's create another new folder. And it's going to begin with your last name. So for me, it's going to be trainer. And an underscore. And then your first name, Kevin. Okay. And then I'm going to say for my guitar shop, let's just say MGS. Chap 03. If we put an 03 on these, then they're going to sort the right way. Okay? Okay, so when we do this, so when we get done, I think we go all the way to chapter 12. When we get done, you'll have all of your homework here, and you'll have 12 different properly named directories, and they're going to sort in order because everything but the chapter number is going to be the same. And because we put the 0 before the 3, they are going to come out in order. Okay, so what are we going to put in these? Well, we're going to put .sql files in there, and we're going to want the .sql files to be properly named as well. Okay, what are we going to do that with? Well, we're going to do that with MySQL Workbench. So let's fire that up. Okay. All right, and let's open up our connection to our server. And that looks good. So what are we going to do? Well, you can see we have our My Guitar Shop database here. Okay. So to create a query, all you need is a blank tab in the editor. And of course, when you open the product, you have a query you want as a blank tab. If you want another one, just go up to the upper toolbar all the way on the left and click on the SQL plus icon, and you get another new file. Okay, and this product works about the same under Windows and the Mac, but in the Windows version, you are able to close all of the tabs and have a completely empty section in the middle. And on the Mac, I think you're able to close all but one. So if you try to close them all, if you try to close the last one, it'll open another blank one. And how do you get a blank one? Well, of course, we go up to the toolbar all the way on the left, and we get a blank one. And it keeps naming them sequentially higher. This one is called SQL file 4. Every time you fire up the product again, it starts again with 1. That's not a name that we're going to use anyway. One of the things that I mentioned was that we weren't going to rely on the feature of Workbench that allows you to identify one of the database as the one that's currently in use. Okay, if you'll remember, the way you do that is you find it and you double click on it. So if we want it to be the accounts payable one from the textbook, we can just double click on AP and it's going to open up. Okay, now we can have a query for the My Guitar Shop database simply by starting out with the statement use My Guitar Shop. Okay, and at the end of every statement, we're going to put a semicolon. Okay, it's really a separator, so you don't need one for the last of your statements. But this is really a good way to do this. So we are going to use it here. Okay, and now let's look at the list of tables that we have. Well, in My Guitar Shop, if we open the list of tables, we've got addresses, categories, customers. Let's look at categories. There's not a lot in a category. Okay. So what could we do? Well, on the second line, because here we're going to be learning, how to do a select for a single table. We're going to say select. The asterisk says all columns from, and then we need the name of a table, categories, and then we're going to say order by category ID. and we're going to end with a semicolon. Okay, so that's a proper select. Okay, that sounds good. And what happens if we execute? And let's put a carriage return there. And let's go up to the lightning bolt and we'll ask workbench to execute the query. There it is. Oh, and great. It looks like there are two columns, category ID, a category name. Okay. And we said that we wanted to order it by category ID. Okay. One of the things you're going to find out when we do the lecture for chapter 3 is I always want to use the order by option of the select. Okay, well this is kind of a trivial one because it's by category ID. How about we do it by category name? So we're just going to go up there, put category name where we had category ID, and we're going to execute it again. And now the category names in our alphabet are in alphabetical order, and that looks like that's pretty user friendly. Okay. And my rule is I always want you to have a use and the name of the database. And in the case of the exercises, it's going to be My Guitar Shop. And when we do a select, in all but in the, there's a really unique set of circumstances where I don't want you to use the order by, and I'll tell you when that is. But other than that, I want you to order by either what the problem says to order by, or by something that you pick that makes some kind of sense. In this case, category name makes a lot of sense. So, how are we going to name these? Okay, because we're going to have to save this. We've created a query. It's maybe not so pretty as we'd like. We're not quite ready to save it. We have to pretty it up. There is a pretty printing function up on this lower toolbar. If we go all the way out to the almost to the right, there's a little dust brush, and it's a pretty printing feature, and it's called Beautify Reformat SQL Script. And if we click on that, you'll see that the use My Guitar Shop was fine, but it put the select in a particular format that makes it easy to read. Okay? And this is something I'm going to want you to do on all your queries as well. Okay? It works very well on the select. It doesn't work as well on some of the other ones, like the insert. But to the extent you can get it to work, I want you to use it. Okay? So now this is prettier. Again, it works the same way. All right, so what we've learned here is an SQL statement can be continued on multiple lines. We've also seen that there's a practice considered a good coding practice of making the keywords from the language like select and from and order by, putting them in caps, and then having the names of the database objects like My Guitar Shop and categories and category name in lowercase. Okay, and that's what we're doing. The database objects are in lowercase because the author who created the database did that, and the other ones are going to be in uppercase, at least the select is, because of our Beautify Reformat feature. Okay, so now we're ready to save this. So a typical application with a menu, we can just go up to the menu and say File, Save Script As, and now we have to get to the right directory. We're putting ours in Documents, Here's the directory of all my solutions. Okay. Here's the current group for chapter 3. And we have a naming convention for these. So what's it going to be? So we're going to follow the convention that they use, that the author uses, and it's maybe not as cool as it might be. So the convention that he uses for this is he says EX3. I wish he had said 03, but he says 3 dash 01. And we don't have to put dot SQL here because it's going to be added by the tool. So let's say save. Okay. And what you start to see up here is you start to see the name up here rather than the token name that it had before. So let's do this. Let's close our way out of Workbench. Okay. And let's go back into the file browser, and let's open up the directory for chapter 3. And there's the properly named file. And can we open this? Yeah, sure we can. Let's say we want to edit it. Okay, so that's not going to try to open it with some application to run it. Let's say we want to edit it. And there it is. Okay. And what is interesting is it's in Notepad, and we're not seeing the carriage returns because it's in Notepad. If it were in WordPad, I think we would. So if we, can we say open with WordPad. There we are. That's looking better. Okay. So it's going to be saved using the Unicode UTF-8 encoding format, which is what WordPad uses, and that's that. Okay. So let's go back. All right. And let's open up Workbench, fire up a connection. Okay. And I think I may have mentioned already, but if I haven't, I will now. The tabs that are in here are usually pretty sticky. So if you want whatever you had open before to be opened again, just leave it open. When you open up the connection again, you should see it there. I tend to clean up before I leave, and so that's why I just have one blank query. Okay, so let's say that I want to execute my exercise 1 for chapter 3. Now, that's not the real exercise 1. I just put something simple in there. Okay. Well, I need two things. One is I need the My Guitar Shop database. So if you don't have that installed yet, then go back to the tutorial where we do that install and follow the directions and run the install so that we have that. Okay. And the other thing is we need to open the query. So let's go up to the upper toolbar, and one in from the left is the open icon. Okay, and it just so happens that we're at the directory where we want it. So we want, let's say we had to navigate, okay, that'd be a little bit better. So let's see. Okay, so this takes us to document. So My Guitar Shop Solutions, double click. Here's the properly named file that's going to hold the solution for our chapter. Double click. Here's a properly named solution. Highlight it. We could double click, or we're going to highlight it and click open. And there it is. And if we want to execute it, then we just click the lightning bolt on the left, and you can see down in the output that it succeeded. See the green check marks, and also you can see the results. So we got exactly what we wanted there. Okay, good. This looks good. Let's talk about when we're done with all of the exercises. How do we bundle up our work for submission? Okay, and with that in mind, I'm gonna close all my little tabs and quit Workbench, and I'm going to go back to the File Explorer. Okay, and I'm going to go down to the directory that has my files in it, and let's say that I had all 8 of these. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy paste these and pretend that they're different when they're not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we need one more. All right, and these would be properly named like this. So we've got. Oh, sorry, it's not what I wanted. If you double click the file, it'll open it with a Workbench. That's pretty nice. It's not what I wanted it to do, but it did. Okay, so let's go and rename this. This one's going to be called O2 for exercise O2. And let's rename this. Call that O3. Rename that one. That one's going to become O4. And the next one's going to become O5. Now, I'm just doing this for show, but you would, of course, be creating the real solutions and saving them in properly named scripts. So this one is going to be called O7. And this one is going to be called O8. Okay, you have that. So there you go. So we need to zip these up into a single file, but we want them to be a properly named directory and the subfiles. So don't zip them up when we're here. Go back up to where we can see a list of all the directories we have and zip up the directory. So how are we going to do this? Well, let's go there. Let's right click. Okay. And it looks like we can't do that. Let's look again. No. So how do we do that? I think we have to hold down the shift. So shift right click. There'll be a slight pause. We figure out how to do this. Yeah. So shift right click. You have to properly highlight it. And then shift right click, send to compressed zipped folder. Okay. So that creates a folder of the same name and a different type. So this zip folder is what you are going to submit on the learning management system, which again, if you're at the University of Illinois, that's going to be Moodle. I'm going to have an assignment to hand in the results. It'll be expecting one file. So this is the zip file that you'll submit. Or up at UWM, we're currently using D2L, and we'll have a Dropbox, and it'll be expecting a single file, and you will submit the dropped file. Okay? That's going to give me the opportunity to download your zip file and double click it and have it expand into a properly named structure that's easy for us to grade. Okay? So that's why we do it this way. So if you follow these directions, everything should work out just fine. That's it for this tutorial. I'm going to say bye until next time. So bye-bye.